Okay, happy Friday. I got a couple packets here. I'll do them in the same video, so it's with the packets. It's going to take me forever to write it on paper. Okay, story problem packet. At a fair, parking costs $6. Tickets cost $3.50 per person. Ride passes cost an additional $5.50 per person. Total cost for the passes and parking was $51. How many people attended the fair? Okay, so I've got a go-to for this. At least I know how to start it at least. At the XY table. So you've got dollars and persons. Or people, whatever. Okay. Okay, now we don't have a time unit, but remember I told you X cannot be the money, so X would have to be here, and that would be here. So per, dollars per person. Now here's where this changes up a little bit. There's one minor adjustment. Tickets cost $6 isn't paid per person, okay, so I don't use that. $3.50 per person, and then the ride passes are $5.50 per person. So I'm pretty sure if I go to the fair, we also want to ride. So I'm going to add these together. Okay. So $3.50 plus $5.50 is 9. Okay. 9 times X. X being the person. So we had two rates we needed to add. Just combine them. Okay. So 0, 1, 2. And again, X is persons. Y is dollars. Okay, so now before we paid for the persons, the dollars per person, we started at $6, okay, because they had to park. That's before they even go in, okay. Then we start adding 9. So 6 plus 9 is 15. 15 plus 9 is 24, and on it goes. So on my graph, okay, the initial amount is 6, and the number I'm repeatedly adding to 6 is 9. 9 times X equals Y. So that's my equation. 6 plus 9X equals Y. Now we take that $51 and put it in the Y column, so Y equals 51. Okay. So replace Y with 51. You don't need to put a parentheses for the Y because there's no operations with the Y. Operations are all over here. Okay, so I got plus 9 and it's 9 times X. Now get your 6 to a 0. Now don't add 6. 6 plus 6 is 12 homes. You would subtract 6. So 9 times X, and then 51 minus 6 is 45. 9 times what's 45? Well, how about I divide by 9 and find out. 45 divided by 9 is 5. 5 people. The next one works a little bit differently. A couple on vacation rents a car for $150. Then they fill the car up with $50 worth of gas. It must be like a big gas hog van to fill up $50. Be able to put $50 worth in. The rental car costs 75 cents per mile. If the total cost of the car ends up as $247.25, for how many miles did the couple drive the truck? Alright, I'm making the table, okay, this problem, dollars and miles. Now you don't have a time unit, but we know X cannot be the money, so X should be miles. Why? X is time, it can never be money. Remember those two things, you're good. Dollars per mile, okay. $150 is not paid every mile, neither is $50. The only per mile amounts to 75 cents. So 0.75. So unlike the last problem, that's the only rate of change I have, the rate. So XY. X is miles, Y is dollars. 0, 1, 2. Now before we have to pay for the miles, we have to pay for two things. We have to pay $150 for the car itself, and then $50 for the gas. So to find the initial amount, we need to now add 150 and 50, and that's 200. Okay, So you pay $200 before you pay the 75 cents per mile. Then after 1 mile, you add 75 cents. So that's $200.75. Add another, after 2 miles, add another 75 cents. That's going to be $201.50. Okay, and that keeps on going. Now I know enough to write my equation. So we started at 200. We did not start at 150 before the 75 cents per mile. Paid for that and that. So 200 is your at the beginning of the ladder. Now I'm going to add 0.75 times x equals y, and that's your equation. Okay, now at the end they pay $247.25. Okay, so that goes in for y. So y equals $247.25. So 200 plus 0.75 times x equals $247.25. All right, so here's the x. It's got a times and a plus. I want to circle the times. Get your 200 to 0. You would subtract 200. 247 minus 200 is 47.25. Then over here you got 0.75 times x. Now I'm going to divide by 0.75. Remember, don't minus the multiplying number or add it. I have people that still like to do that in Algebra 2. I mean, I get why people want to do it, but just try to remember. 63, so 63 miles. Good thing I don't have to make that table all the way to 63. Pause the video and do the 2 problems in that packet, then resume it after you're done with the 2. Refer back to your notes. Okay. Actually, I'll talk a little bit about it. Dollars per week, $8 per week, $15 per week. You're going to have to do something with those. On number 2, dollars in miles. Shoot. Circle miles or underline it or something. Okay. Circle miles or underline it. Okay. Dollars in miles are your units. X is miles, Y is dollars. The only dollars per mile amounts to 20. But you got to pay for a couple things before you pay the $20 per mile. Okay, pause it and then do that. We'll go on to the next packet. Okay, solve the equation. Now you're going to get a game changer. You're solving for x. Okay, put my answer over there. Now look on the board in the black. I'm not at school right now, so I can't have you look in the board. Okay. So I can't show the board. First step you do is see if you have any parentheses. You don't. And then you need to simplify the equation so there's one single x, but there's 2 of them. But here's the problem. You can't do the v across an equal sign. Okay? These are on different sides. So here's what I do. I can't do the v. You can't add 3 and negative 2. Okay? You can't go across the equals with that. Here's what I like to do. Pick your smaller x number. You got 3x and negative 2x. Negative 2 is smaller. Okay. How would you take a negative 2 to 0? Now you're thinking adding, subtracting. Okay. You would add 2x. So add 2x. Then I come over to the other side and I would add 2x to the 3x. Okay. Now line up your equals and you have 5x plus 2, negative 2 plus 2 is 0, and then minus 8 means it's negative 8. Now I can make the wall and put my operators in, so times 5 and plus 2. Okay, so get the 2 to a 0, and then go over here and subtract 2. So line up your equals. 5 times x, negative 8 backwards, 2 is negative 10. And then I divide by 5. 5 times what's negative 10? Well, I'm guessing it's negative 2. Okay. Next problem. Pretty much what we're doing on this. Okay. No parentheses, but there's two x's. Okay, you need to simplify it so there's only one. The v ain't gonna cut it when they're on the opposite, when you have to go past the equal sign. Okay, so you mark out your smaller x. So -7 smaller than 15. How would you get a -7x to 0? Well, you'd add 7 with the x along with it. Okay, go over here and add 7x. So equals, you can add and subtract with x's if you have to, okay? So it's 22x plus 22, that's 0, and then we have 18. Okay, so the x is now only on one side, okay? Only one, with a times 22 and a plus 22. Well, we got to get the plus 22 to 0, so I would subtract 22, subtract 22. So 22 times x. 18 minus 22 is -4. Now, you're at the last step. 22 times what's -4? Well, I have no idea. How about I divide by 22? You can write -0.18. That's okay. Yeah, why don't we just go with that? Or, if you really wanted to, you could go -4 over 22. Over's the ABC key, and simplify the fraction that way. -2/11. Anyway, anyway is good. Okay. Okay, next problem. No parentheses, but you got x's across the equals, so the v won't work. So you put a 1 and a 2. Now you compare these two, and whatever the smaller one is, I'm going to add or subtract that. So if I wanted to get a -1x to 0, I would add 1x. It's the same thing on a number line. You just put the x with the number, then add 1x. You're not just adding 1, you're adding 1x. Okay? You can't add a 1 to a 1x. You have to add a 1x to a 1x. Okay, that's 0. 0x, but 0x means 0. Okay, because 0 times x, even though I don't know x, 0 times anything 0. It's out. So you have -11. If it's got a minus, that's going to be 3x plus 4. Now we're over here. So times 3 plus 4. You always make the wall on the side of the equals where the x is at. So get your plus 4 to a 0. Well, you'd have to go backwards 4, so you'd minus 4. Now go to the other side of the wall and minus 4 there. -11 minus 4. If you're at -11, go backwards 4, you're at -15. Now 3 times what's -15? Well, let's divide by 3 and find out. -15 divided by 3 is -5. Now, interesting thing happens here. Again, you have two x's, they're across the equals. You can't do the v because they're across the equals, but you really don't have a smaller one because they're the same. Here's what you do when they're the same. Scribble them both out, they're gone. Okay, it's like I'm taking them away from each side. Now, here's what we write when that happens, when the x's go bye-bye. There are one of two answers. It's either all solutions or no solutions. Is 7 equal to 14? No, that's a ridiculous statement. So that's no solutions. That means there's no number that x can be. Like here, for example, let me go back up top here. 3x plus 2, if I take 3 times the x answer, -2, and add 2, it's -4. Now if I go to the other side and take -2 times the x answer, -2, and minus 8, that's -4. So those sides are equal when x is -2. So that's why it's the answer, right? And that's the same with this one wouldn't quite work because I had to round it. This one, that means there's no number that can make this side equal to this side. Now let's go to the next problem. I want to change this one up, okay? I want you to put a 7 over that 3. I'm changing the problem, okay? So x equals, You have two different x's, but they're across the equals. Now find the smaller one. Negative 2x, negative 2x, those are the same, man. So you cross them out. And then again, it's all solutions or no solutions, but you got to put which one it is. You can't just write that. Well, 7 equals 7, don't it? Doesn't it? Yes. So that's all solutions. That means any number I put in for x is going to make this side and this side equal. Okay, now unfortunately you do have some ones where you have parentheses. Okay, parentheses have to be simplified, both of them. So it's a negative 2. And I'm going to distribute that first to the 2x. Then I'm going to make that plus negative and distribute it to the negative 4. So negative 2 times 2 is negative 4x, and then 8. So I line up the equals, and on this side I write negative 4x plus 8. The parentheses and the negative 2 are gone. There's nothing else there. Now over here, negative 4 to negative x. If x has a negative, it's a 1. So negative 4 times the negative 1x, then the plus is already there, then times 2. So that's positive 4x, and that's negative 8. Now you want to be careful on this one. Again, you have x's across the equals on each side of the equals. You can't do the v across the equals. Negative 4, positive 4. There is a smaller number. They're not the same, okay? It's that one right there. So I get the negative 4x to 0 by adding 4x, and then I go over here and add 4x over there. So negative 4 plus 4, that crosses out. So I have 8. 4 plus 4 is 8x plus 8. Now the wall, now the times, and the plus. Get that 8 to 0, so subtract 8, subtract 8. Now people would get confused here. Over here you still got the 8 times x. Now 8 minus 8 over here I crossed out because I still had an 8 times x. 8 minus 8 here, I don't want to cross it out because then I don't have anything to put there. Well, I'm going to put what 8 minus 8 actually is, 0. Now divide by 8. 0 divided by anything, 0. You can get an answer as 0. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, next one. I got a parentheses just with the 2. If you want to put a 1 in front of the x, that's fine. Or you can just leave it as x. It ain't really going to matter. So 2 times 1x, and then 2 times 16. So it's going to be 2x and 32. That's on this side, so 2x plus 32. You need to cross out the parentheses and the 2, but there's still the 3x, so plus 3x. And over here we have 6 plus 7x. Well, we got x's, 3 of them. 2 of them are on the same side, so I can do the v on those. So that's going to make 5x plus 32. And I still got 6 plus 7x here. Now we're down to 2 x's, but I can't cross the v over the equals. So when I compare 5x to 7x, 5x is the 1, okay? So I get that to 0. I subtract 5x, not just 5, got to be 5x, and then from 7x. So I have 32. I don't need to put the 0 because I have 32 over here still. Okay, I would do the x's first. 7 minus 5 is 2x plus the 6. Now the wall's there, times 2 plus 6. You got to get the number on this side of the wall, the number not multiplied by x, take to 0 by minusing 6. 32 minus 6 then is 26, and 2 dot x. Now divide by 2. 26 divided by 2 is 13. Okay, next problem. Parentheses, got to fix them. You put a negative 1. We'll be multiplying it by 5x, and then we'll be multiplying it by 6. So it's negative 5x and negative 6. So I line up the equals, and on that side I've got negative 5x plus negative 6. Parentheses and the negative 1 are gone, but we have a parentheses here with the multiplier of 2 times 3x, and then times 8. So 6x and 16. So 6x plus 16. Now there's two x's, they're across the equals, so no v. Negative 5 and 6, so it's a negative 5 I'd get rid of. So I plus 5x, and then plus 5x to the number with the x there. At 0, we still have negative 6. It's going to be 11x plus 16. Now the x is here with a times 11 and a plus 16. The 16's got to go, okay? You would subtract 16 over here. Line up the equals. Negative 6 minus 16 is negative 22. 11 times x. Divide by 11, divide by 11, and x equals negative 2. Okay, last one. No parentheses, thankfully, but we have 3 x's. 2 of them are on the same side, so I can v those and add. 3 plus 2 is 5x. I've still got the minus 6. And over here I've got 1x minus 2. Now I can't v these. 5x, 1x. 1x is smaller. Get it to 0. So minus 1x minus 1x. You're adding and subtracting. You have to get the smaller x to a 0 when they're across the equals. So I have 4x minus 6, and over here I got my negative 2. Now x is here with times and minus, plus negative. Getting a negative 6 to 0, I'd add 6. So 4 times x. Negative 2 plus 6 is 4. 4 times what's 4? I'm guessing it's 1. Okay. Yep, it is.